Welcome back. 45 degrees, swirling winds on the field, and it is raining in Landover, Maryland, as we get set for the Redskins and the Buccaneers. Mike Shanahan's Redskins have lost 4 of their last 5, record of 5-7. On the other side, Raheem Morris in his 2nd season as head coach of the Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay has won the toss.
And what a difference visiting with both teams during the course of the weekend. The feel at Redskin Park compared to the feel when we sat down and talked to the Buccaneers. I mean, just polar opposites.
Graham Gano's kickoff taken at the 5 by Michael Spurlock. Spurlock forced out of bounds at the 24-yard line by Byron Westbrook as the 2nd-year quarterback out of Kansas State, Josh Freeman, leads the Bucs offense out.
And maybe the biggest thing that Josh Freeman did was earn his team's respect in the offseason. He came back to the facility in January, and from January to March kind of worked on the offense, got it down pat. Then he spent April through the rest of the summer learning about defensive schemes that he's going to see during the course of the year. It's that type of work ethic, that type of commitment that will get everybody on that offense and his entire team to follow him.
1st and 10 from the 24-yard line in the rain, and the handoff to LeGarrette Blount, the rookie out of Oregon, and Blount takes it up to the 30-yard line for a gain of 6 as we check out the 23rd ranked offense in the National Football League.
And here comes some of those young guys we've been talking about at running back, at wide receiver. You add them to the skill positions, that's only going to make Josh Freeman better, and they're going to grow and mature together. And this group, this is the 7th new offensive line, starting 5 this year. It's been amazing what this offense has been able to accomplish with all the shifting pieces of the puzzle.
Cadillac Williams in the backfield, 2nd down and 4. Off the play fake, Freeman slips, now takes off and gains 3 out to the 33-yard line, tackled by Lorenzo Alexander. So 3rd down and 1 coming up for Tampa Bay.
Now the ground is only going to get worse. Watch Josh Freeman right here as he goes to plant, slides with his right foot back, decides to go and run, trying to get some yardage. But this field is in great shape right now, but it's only going to get worse. The rain just started and it's cold.
Freeman grew up in Missouri, played at Kansas State. He's played in bad weather and rain before. Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 1. Three receivers set. Freeman backpedaling, moving to his right. He fires downfield looking for Kellen Winslow, with linebacker London Fletcher on the coverage all the way downfield.
Moose, Josh Freeman does a nice job of avoiding a sack and getting outside, getting the ball downfield for a possible catch and free.
Yeah, but watch the hit he
Winslow
takes at the end, Tony. He's got Kellen Winslow. It's a matchup they're going to look at all afternoon because London Fletcher has to run with Kellen Winslow down the middle of the field. He does a heck of a job right there on an extended play, and here's the hit by Brian Arakpo at the end of that.
So Robert Malone waiting back at his 18-yard line. The explosive Brandon Banks back deep for the Redskins. Terrific kick. Banks from the 8. And he's tackled at the 16-yard line by Adam Hayward. 59-yard punt. Only 8 on the return. Here comes Donovan McNabb of the Redskins offense.
And it's been a tumultuous season for Donovan McNabb. It's really been up and down. And we sat and we talked with him on Friday, and there's something weighing on his mind. And I know that he was not happy with his performance as a quarterback last week, disappointed really in the entire offense. But you heard Jay Glazer talk about shared reps at practice Friday. We saw it. We saw Rex Grossman splitting snaps on a Friday practice, which is not a good sign when you're the starting quarterback.
Well, the good news for the Redskins, Ryan Terrain returns after missing 4 games. Movement prior to the snap.
5-yard penalty remains. 1st down.
That's the right guard, Will Montgomery. Pete Morelli, our referee today.
It's been a common theme for Mike Shanahan and his Redskins this year. They find ways to make mistakes that contribute to the challenges during the course of the game. And then sometimes it's just simple pre-snaps, but we saw a lot of it last week against the Giants.
Here's Terrain, found a hole. Ryan Terrain, 1st down and more. Down the sideline, stays in bounds, and then is finally knocked out at the Buccaneers' 37 by E.J. Biggers. So Terrain, returning from the hamstring injury, gains a season-long 55 yards.
This offense is predicated on being able to run the ball. Watch Ryan Terrain hit the offensive left side. This is a great job of blocking by everybody. Corin Lichtensteiger does a great job getting to the second level. Somebody was not in their gap for Tampa Bay. That's a gaping hole for Ryan Terrain.
Longest run by a Redskin this season from the Bucs, 35. This time, Terrain bottled up by Gerald McCoy after picking up a yard.
That's the type of start that this offense needs. They need success in the running game. Keelan Williams, not the starter. You saw Ryan Terrain in there. That's the change. The first time in over a month, they've got to find a way to get Chris Cooley involved in this game. And there's that offensive line. Great job by that left side on the big run by Ryan Terrain.
Nice job man blocking down the line of scrimmage. Everybody had their block. Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line's got to get off their blocks.
Off the play action goose, the screen to Terrain. And Terrain is tackled at the 27-yard line, 2 yards shy of a first down.
Here's that Tampa Bay defense. Gerald McCoy, their top first-round draft pick. In typical fashion, that front is really going to dictate how this group plays. Barrett Ruud's having another good season at the linebacker level, but it's traditional Tampa Bay style of defense. Rondé Barber, the cornerstone, got a lot of young guys around. I think Sean Jones was a great addition for this team. He's kind of solidified that safety position. A lot of injuries in that secondary for the Bucs this year, but they're hanging in there.
3 wide receivers, 3rd down and 2. McNabb's pass is caught for a first down at the 20-yard line by Anthony Armstrong.
Hey, Darryl, this is exactly what Washington needs to do. They need to keep drives going. No, they need to have a drive down the field. Put it all together, not just look for the big play, the deep pass. Run the ball. That sets up their whole offense with the play action and everything else they want to do on offense.
And they seem to have gotten Donovan into a comfort zone just here on this opening drive. You know, being able to run the ball like you said, a screen, a quick pass. Those are some of the things that we've always remembered Donovan being very good at.
On first down from the 20. Pass is caught by Mike Sellers, the fullback. Sellers tackled at the 16-yard line. Gain of 4, so Goose, you're absolutely right. Redskins have struggled on 3rd down this year, and they have the fewest 10-play drives in the league.
And one of the reasons they have always been looking for the big plays built into this offense. What we're seeing here on this opening drive, Donovan McNabb making good decisions. If it's not there, he's got some outlets underneath to check the ball to. Stay ahead of the chains. Put yourself into manageable down and distance situations.
McNabb has completed his first 3 pass attempts. Redskins keep it on the ground with Terrain, and it's Sean Jones, who you mentioned, coming up to make the tackle, the former Brown and Eagle.
I really think when you look at Tampa Bay last year, and we had them in their first 3 games, and the area that they were really struggling in was the back end, their safety position. Now they've made a lot of changes since the start of the season. Raheem Morris took over the defensive coordinator and the play calling during the course of the year last year. He's kept that this year. He really enjoys doing it. It's one of the things that he looks forward to every Sunday, is putting that game plan together and trying to win that mental chess match.
3rd down and 6. McNabb's pass intended for Chris Cooley. So the Redskin drive stalls following the big run by Terrain, and Washington will send out the field goal unit.
Yeah, they brought the pressure up on the line of scrimmage. Nice job by the linemen getting their hands up. You know, if the pressure's not going to get there, there's Cooley wide open, but the pass was just short. That's a guy they need to get the ball to today, Darryl. Cooley.
Here's Graham Gano setting up for a 34-yard field goal attempt from the left hash. Hunter Smith places it down, and Gano's kick is off the left upright. So the Redskins come away with nothing on their opening drive, which started with the big run. And for Gano, that is his 9th missed field goal this season.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Buccaneers went 3 and out on their opening drive. Redskins marched 68 yards, but the field goal attempt hit off the left upright, so the Bucs go back to work from their own 23. Freeman looking, he throws, and the catch is made by the backup tight end, John Gilmore. And Gilmore picks up 12 yards and a Bucs first down.
Well, this is a defense that really struggled last week against the New York Giants. Almost 200 yards rushing by Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw. So I'm sure we're going to get to that eventually in this Tampa Bay game plan. But they've shifted from the 4-3 to the 3-4. It will take some time for everybody to get acclimated to it. Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator, feels that a lot of the big plays and the cheap yards are coming off assignments that are missed. LaRon Landry, who's out and may not play again this year, is sorely missed by this Redskin defense.
Garrett Blunt found a hole, and he picks up a first down. He's a hard man to bring down. He's finally wrestled out of bounds by Kareem Moore. Similar to Brandon Jacobs last week. Tough guy to tackle.
Yeah, this is going to be a scary bit of deja vu for this Redskin defense, because number 27 in the giant blue last week just ran all over them, and they've got another big guy again this afternoon in LeGarrette Blount. You can see how physical he is right there.
I'll tell you what, that offensive line did a nice job of staying on their blocks too, Moose. Some young guys are playing.
18-yard pickup. Blunt, second among rookies in rushing yards this season.
The defense has got to be ready for trickery too around this area.
Bucs do like to run trick plays. Blunt gains 4 down to the Washington 42. Kendrick Golston made the tackle.
There's Greg Olson, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he had rave reviews for Josh Freeman and the commitment that he made in the offseason. And he knows that they're young right now, and he's really excited. He calls this the best team that he's ever been around. Everybody, all the pieces just kind of mesh together. And Tony, you and I have been a part of a team like that,
yes,
where, you know, it's such a difference when you talk about chemistry and everything that goes with that.
They like playing with each other. They like each other. You got to have that on a team, especially a young team like that.
Second down and 6. Off the fake, Freeman sensed trouble. He got rid of it. And it's taken down to the 37-yard line by Ernest Graham as we check in for the first time with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
Well, the Atlanta Falcons try to keep on rolling, taking on Carolina. The Panthers fumbled on the first play from scrimmage, and Atlanta made them pay. Tony Gonzalez with a 4-yard reception from Matt Ryan, and the team with the best record in the NFC is already up 7-0. Kenny Moose and the star of the pregame show, Tony Saragusa.
Well, no letdown for the Falcons this week. You thought after that tough game against Tampa Bay that there might be a little bit of a letdown, but off to a great start against Carolina.
Bucs have lost 2 games to the Falcons by a combined 10 points. Third down and 1. Freeman, the slant, and a terrific defensive play made by Phillip Buchanan, who struggled last week against the Giants and was benched.
Really surprised with that call, Darryl. I thought they just run the ball for the one. They've been firing off the ball, running real well. Decided to go for a quick slant right here, and it's covered.
Well, that's what happens when you overthink it, Tony. They've struggled in 3rd and short, 4th and short, running the football. So all of a sudden you try and change it up. You go to Mike Williams in the slant. Good coverage by Phillip Buchanan, and you're absolutely right, Kenny. He had a tough afternoon last week against the Giants.
Robert Malone punting from midfield, low snap. Banks lets it go, and it is down right around the 10-yard line by Corey Lynch.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
We welcome you back in the rain. Redskins and Buccaneers are scoreless. Washington drove 8 plays, 68 yards. Came away with no points on their opening drive. Now they start from their own 11. As McNabb hands it off, another big hole. Ryan Terrain takes it out to the 23-yard line for a Redskin first down, gain of 12.
I'm kind of surprised at how effective Washington is at running the ball today.
Yeah, they pull the right guard right here. Just zone blocking up front. Everybody staying on their blocks there.
This is a defense that, you know, you talk about gap responsibility and everybody being in the right place. Right now they're not. I mean, the holes are too big, Tony. It's not just what Washington's doing. Tampa Bay's contributing to it a little bit.
From the 23 on first down, it's Terrain again, breaks a tackle, and picks up another Redskins first down. Ryan Terrain all the way out to the 46-yard line. 23 more yards. He has 91 on 5 carries.
You got an opportunity to make a play in the backfield. Watch Ryan Terrain run out of this one right here by Gerald McCoy. He's able to pull away from that. Now he's getting great downfield block. There's Santana Moss on Rondé Barber. If the running game is all about just a little bit of want to, right now the Redskins want it a little bit more than this Bucs defense.
Terrain averaging over 18 yards a carry. Number 46, they go right back to number 46. He's across midfield. Terrain returning after missing the 4 games. He was drafted by Mike Shanahan in Denver 2 years ago. Started this season on the practice squad. And he is already over 100 yards for the 3rd time this season.
And we talked about this offense being predicated on being able to run the football. Now, with the success that Ryan Terrain has had here early in this game, Tampa Bay has to be very, very careful not to creep up. Don't let your safeties get up. Don't let the linebackers get up. Because when you do that, Donovan McNabb will go over the top with play action.
From the 46 on 1st down. Guess who? Terrain again. This time, not much. Fighting forward. Gains a couple. Tim Crowder made the tackle.
You're absolutely right, Darryl. For a defense that prides himself on stopping the run, these guys are just glued on the blocks. I don't see anybody extending, shedding blocks, running to the ball. I mean, they're moving, but they got guys on them. This is not the Tampa Bay defense that we're used to seeing.
Terrain replaced Goose by James Davis. Redskins story at running back has been well chronicled. Clinton Portis on IR. They have Larry Johnson and Willie Parker earlier this season. McNabb backpedaling, and his passes batted back towards him by Tim Crowder.
Well, James Davis has got to recognize that he's got Rondé Barber coming off the edge, and he's got to go get him. And he's a little bit slow reacting to it. He doesn't get right up on him. It's actually Rondé who makes him move first. And here comes Tim Crowder in to finish things off. You cannot wait in pass protection. You have to go. You have to create distance between the point of the block and where the quarterback is going to set up.
3rd down and 8. Redskins must get to the 34 for a 1st down. McNabb again under pressure, and he's taken down back at the 43-yard line by the combination of Quincy Black and Michael Bennett.
And what's going to happen today, because Washington is a max protect team getting a few guys out, they're going to be watching the running backs to see what they do. Are they going to stay in protection? Well, if you're going to stay in protection, then we're going to bring you. I've got you in man coverage. But if you're going to show pass protection, I'm going to blitz.
Donovan has got to get rid of that ball quicker. He held the ball a little bit too long right there, put his lineman on the edge a little bit.
Hunter Smith's punt, fair catch, called for at the 21-yard line by Michael Spurlock. 2nd sack of the season, Quincy Black.
Today's game is sponsored by the Dodge Challenger. Visit your local Dodge dealer today. By Pizza Hut. Your favorite plays deserve your favorite pizza. Your favorite's your Pizza Hut. And by Sprint, the Now Network.
There's Gerald McCoy, the Bucs' 1st-round draft pick out of Oklahoma, heading back to the Tampa Bay locker room.
And that'll be a big loss up front. Already Ryan Terrain having a nice afternoon, over 100 yards here already in the 1st quarter. Losing Gerald McCoy is only going to make that a little bit easier.
Bucs start here from their own 21-yard line. Blunt, Malone back. A handoff to LeGarrette Blunt. Again, hard man to bring down. Blunt out to the 24-yard line, gain of 3.
I liked your point earlier, Tony, that these guys are so young that they don't know what they don't know, and they just continue to play, because you could get a little bit of frustration right now because, I mean, on both sides of the ball, Washington is doing a nice job. They're winning the battles here early on. I think these guys are so young, there's just never going to be a sense of panic with them during the course of the year.
One play at a time for them young men.
2nd and 7. Fletcher. And Freeman gets rid of it as Brian Arakpo came from behind. And Freeman forced to throw it away.
Donald Penn had a good block on him. See there on top, brings him around. Arakpo just went and turned the corner. Josh has to go and step up. He's got to learn that as a quarterback, if you keep getting depth, those tackles cannot go and stop those defensive ends on the angle that they're coming. If you step up, now they'll go and run him right by him. But he's got to help his tackles out a little bit of where he sets up in the pocket.
3rd down and 7. Out of the shotgun. Freeman throws, and it's nearly picked off by D'Angelo Hall. Pass was intended for Michael Spurlock. Hall with 6 picks, 2nd in the NFL. Couldn't come down with that one.
D'Angelo Hall read that one all the way. Watch the jump he gets on this. He knows exactly what's coming. Cuts in front of Michael Spurlock. Does everything right, but make the interception. I tell you, Washington just letting opportunities slip through their fingers at the beginning of this game.
Malone waiting back at his own 10, punting for the 3rd time this quarter. Brandon Banks from the 38. Banks up to the 41-yard line. Long snapper Andrew Economist makes the tackle. D'Angelo Hall almost had it. Well, in case you're expecting to watch the Giants and Vikings today, the game, of course, has been postponed and will be played at Ford Field in Detroit. Catch it in the New York and Minneapolis markets tomorrow night on Fox. Another big run by Ryan Terrain, who enters Buccaneers territory. Terrain picks up 12 and now has 114 yards on the ground, most by any player in the NFL in the first quarter this season.
This is just unbelievable.
Missed tackles.
Yeah, but you know what, Tony, right now, I don't know if this is the normal rotation. Now, we saw Gerald McCoy go out. But other than that, right now, Roy Miller, the only guy. So I don't know if they're trying to find something in that defensive front because they're not playing well, or if it's just their normal rotation.
Here's Terrain again. Down to the Buccaneers' 43-yard line. Time for another game break. Here's Kurt.
And time for another Falcon touchdown. Atlanta hands it off to Michael Turner. He goes in from a yard out. 2 possessions, 2 TDs, and Atlanta's up 14-zip. Still a lot of time left in the first quarter at Carolina. Kenny Moose and Goose.
Thanks, Kurt. Falcons continue to roll. They've won their last 6 games.
But that's what you need to do. I mean, it's been a really, really difficult season for Carolina, and you came off a big victory last week against this Tampa Bay team, the Atlanta Falcons did. You don't want to have a letdown that next game, and they've come out and just really jumped all over the Panthers.
2nd down and 6. Ryan Terrain up the middle. This time runs into the arms of Quincy Black. Gain of 3. Well, this is why the Giants and Vikings will not be playing today in Minneapolis.
This is just a scary situation. Thank goodness nobody got hurt. You watch this, just watch this roof come through. It reaches right there. There's the weight of the snow coming through. So that's not the type of video I expected to see when we heard the roof came down.
Great job by our Fox crew. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, along with Peb Oliver, were scheduled to do the game today in Minneapolis. Time-lapse video. Giants and Vikings tomorrow in Detroit. 3rd down and 3 as McNabb fires. Catch is made by Santana Moss, who was not touched, so he got back up, but he shouldn't have because he lost 2 yards.
You're never going to stop Santana Moss from competing. If he's not touched, he's getting up and he's going.
This Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just playing sloppy right now with tackles and running to the ball. These guys got to do something here.
Huge first quarter for Ryan Terrain, but we are scoreless after 1. Fox NFL Sunday will return in a moment. Big first quarter numbers for the Redskins.
Yeah, but you know what? The important thing is it's for Tampa Bay, it's 0-0. You know, they haven't done anything with all those yards yet.
Redskins on the move. Here's Terrain. Inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. Rondé Barber, the tackle.
You know, one of the things, Tony, that's happening in this running game is there's so many injuries in that secondary. We talked about the safety position, but because this Tampa Bay defense, it's a gap responsibility. Everybody fits in. When you get new pieces in the secondary, they are very, very important to run support in this run defense. And I think, you know, with Aqib Talib being out, we all think of him as a great pass defender, but he's also a great tackler at corner for Tampa Bay.
Leave on IR, replaced by E.J. Bigger. 2nd and 7. Here's Terrain. And he's brought down from behind by Michael Bennett at the Bucs 27.
We talked to Rondé Barber, and he just had rave reviews about Aqib Talib. And he, second in the NFL with interceptions, so I think automatically you go, well, yeah, he's one of those corners that's very aggressive and breaks on the ball, but he's very similar to what Rondé is. He's a great run supporter. It's one of the things that I don't think any of the corners that play this defense have ever gotten the credit for. They're asked to do a lot in the run game, but then also be able to cover man-to-man and zone.
Barber in his 14th season out of Virginia. Redskins facing another big 3rd down play in Bucs territory, and they keep it on the ground. Cadillac Williams on 3rd and 5 picks up a Redskins 1st down.
Well, I'll tell you what, we could talk about the secondary getting involved in the tackles, Darryl, but that defensive line is getting gassed right now. They have responsibilities, but I'll tell you something, right off the line of scrimmage. Look at this, just finding the gap right there, locked on. Hayes got to get off.
So the rookie out of LSU, Cadillac Williams, picks up the 1st down now from the 20. Terrain running hard up the middle. Inside the 10, down to the 8-yard line. Ryan Terrain, adding to his totals, now has 138 yards on the ground today.
If something works, Darryl, you got to stay with it. They got to stay with this run. Abandon the pass right now the way that they're running the ball.
I absolutely agree with you, Tony. If they're not stopping it, then don't move away from it. Don't overthink the situation. Right now, this Tampa Bay run defense is completely on their heels. Brandon Jacobs averaged almost 13 last week against us.
There's Terrain.
There you go, finally.
Hit in the backfield by Barrett Ruud.
That's the first penetration we've seen today, Darryl.
Yeah, but we watched when Brandon ran against his Redskin defense, you saw those huge runs, and you've never seen a guy consistently have that type of day. And here we are the following week with Ryan Terrain with the Washington Redskins doing the exact same thing to Tampa Bay's defense. It's amazing that you can just continually have those big runs one after another.
Maybe you got a little jealous on the sideline saying, look at all the pub he's getting for running so good. I'm going to go out there this week and do the same thing.
That last play, the first negative rushing play for the Redskins today. And McNabb on 2nd and goal with the play clock winding down. Calls timeout. Early 2nd quarter, still no score. Redskins and Bucs.
Today's game is sponsored by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Despicable Me, bring home the comedy event on Blu-ray and DVD this Tuesday. And by Domino's. Oh, yes, we did.
There's Graham Gano. He's missed 2 field goals today, one from 34 yards out and the other from 24.
Artis Hicks getting over there. You got to make sure he's got his head screwed on straight right now. It could come down to a field goal to win this game. You don't want him to have those negative thoughts.
So we remain scoreless as Freeman hands it off to LeGarrette Blount. Adam Carricker into the backfield, loss of 2.
Well, getting the penetration into the backfield, one of the things that Ryan Terrain for Washington has not had to do all afternoon so far is change direction in the backfield. Right there, Kedrick Golston getting in there, forcing LeGarrette Blount, and that's what you have to do with LeGarrette. LeGarrette is not a shifty runner. If you can make him cut early in that run, you're going to be able to rally to him and get him to the ground, but if you let him get a full head of steam, you're going to have your hands full.
Freeman out of the shotgun on 2nd and 12. Inside handoff to Ernest Graham. And Graham finally brought down at the 21 by Brian Orakpo and Rocky McIntosh after picking up 3.
Pretty impressive response by Jim Haslett's group after last week's performance. A lot of it was fundamentals. It was tackling, especially early in that game. They have not let Tampa Bay experience any success early in this game.
Redskins, the 32nd ranked, last ranked defense in the NFL. They allowed nearly 400 yards per game. They've done a nice job so far today. Freeman on 3rd and 9. Throws, and the catch is made by Sammy Stroughter for a Buccaneers 1st down. Out at the 32-yard line, a gain of 12.
Josh Freeman does a nice job of working the pocket. See how deep he is? He goes to 5, to 6, to 7. Now he comes back up, back to 5, and gives him a little bit of time. He's staying in the pocket. He's got poise. His head is downfield. Makes a nice throw.
Schroeder's first catch today. Freeman 3 for 7. Blunt the lone back. From the 32-yard line to Garrett Blunt. Again, hard for the Redskins to bring him down, but he loses the football. And it is recovered by the Redskins. Philip Buchanan had a chance, and finally it's D'Angelo Hall.
If you're a young, physical runner in the NFL as a rookie, you have to understand that in the NFL, they attack the football. The longer you stay up and push, the better chance you have of getting it punched out. D'Angelo Hall telling Jim Haslett how he pulled that off. I'm sure Jim would like a more secure tackle at the line of scrimmage, but he misses him there and then chases him down, and watch the punch, the effort there, pops it out, and then actually makes a recovery.
First you don't succeed, try again. Attack the ball.
So the Bucs can get the game's first turnover. Tampa Bay +9 in turnover ratio this season. Terrain gains a yard before he's tackled by Al Woods.
Better run support there from the secondary. Sean Jones coming down, Ryan Terrain trying to take it out the back door as that defensive front overflows, over pursues. Sean Jones is there on the backside.
Terrain with 135 yards on the ground. Terrain across midfield is 121 yards in the first quarter, most in the NFL. The first quarter, guys, since Tiki Barber back in December of 2005 against Oakland. There's Tiki's twin. But for the Redskins offense, they've gotten into the red zone twice. They've gotten as deep as the 16-yard line and then the 8 on their last drive, but Gano has missed a pair of field goals.
And they don't have anything to show for Ryan Terrain's great start to the game today.
Big goose egg.
They're down at 5. McNabb to Moss. First down. Santana Moss. Finally out of bounds at the Bucs 27-yard line. Picks up 22.
We're talking about pocket presence. Donovan McNabb stood in there, huh, Darryl?
He really did. He's got pressure coming around him and just hung in there. They get the routes cleared out. Santana Moss comes over just a little under route as everybody releases up the field, but you're going to see Gino Hayes coming on the blitz. Good pickup by Cadillac Williams, and as you pointed out, Goose just stands there very confident in everything around him.
Yeah, that pocket was collapsing fast, but a nice job of finding Santana Moss.
Moss 10th in the NFL in receptions coming into this game from the 27. Off the play fake, bootleg to the left, and McNabb's pass is caught. It's Moss again, and Moss takes it inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. So first and goal for the Redskins, but first a game break with Kurt.
How would you like to be David Nelson? The rookie free agent out of Florida gets his second NFL touchdown for Buffalo in as many weeks, giving the Bills a 7-3 lead over the Cleveland Browns. And on top of that, Kenny Moose and Goose, his girlfriend's a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader. Not a bad life.
Buffalo guy. Buffalo-Dallas connections again. They're everywhere.
I know a guy from Buffalo who played for Dallas is standing to my right. First and goal from the Bucs 6. Terrain. Brought down by Sean Jones. No gain on the play. Redskins have been in the red zone twice prior to this drive, but Gano has missed a pair of field goals. His 10 misses, most in the NFL this season. Redskins hope to get into the end zone this time. Second and goal. 3 wide receivers. Terrain in the backfield. McNabb gets rid of him quickly to Moss. Moss inside the 5, down to the 3. Quincy Black made the tackle, so Redskins now facing a 3rd and goal from the 3-yard line.
Well, that's a pretty nice job by Quincy Black, too, because they get everybody isolated out there. And with him going out and covering Santana Moss, the reason that ball came out so quick, you want to get it to him, force Quincy Black to make that tackle in space. That's a matchup that I'm sure Washington would like to exploit. And Anthony Armstrong did a nice job bypassing that, getting the block. They would have secured that touchdown if he could have gotten away from Quincy Black.
Empty backfield terrain, split wide to the right. McNabb on 3rd and goal. Pump fakes, now throws. And terrain is stopped short. It's Quincy Black again. And the question is, will Mike Shanahan leave his offense on the field?
Yeah, heck yeah, Darryl. They got to try and run this ball in or try to get it in. Right now, 0 for 2. You've been in the red zone. This is going to be your 3rd time. You got nothing on the board. Keep that offense out there and go for it.
Yeah, but Ryan Terrain, he's had a great afternoon up to this point, but a big mistake there. When you're on 3rd down near the goal line, make sure you're in the end zone.
4th and goal from the 1. Off the play fake. McNabb, end zone, touchdown, Logan Paulson.
But give that touchdown to the Washington Redskins offensive line and Ryan Terrain, because what they've done through this first half, you have got to respect their ability to run the football. They've been so successful up until this stage. A heavy bite to secure that run, and they sneak Logan Paulson out on the play action.
First career touchdown reception for the rookie out of UCLA. The extra point by Gano is good. And the Redskins have finally scored. They lead the Bucs 7-0. Joe Gibbs excited.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150 and its 4 new engines. This is the future of truck.
Redskins lead 7-0. Donovan McNabb with a touchdown pass in his 12th consecutive game. Longest streak by a Redskin since Joe Theismann in '84. And there's Logan Paulson, the rookie out of UCLA. Caught his first NFL pass last week, and now his first career touchdown.
Nice play design by the Washington Redskins. Got a matchup. I don't know if they saw it on film, but it was very well executed.
Gano's kickoff taken at the 7 by Spurlock. Spurlock upended at the 25 by Reed Doughty. One more look. McNabb to Paulson.
You can see how well Washington has played up until this point, just dominating time of possession, controlling the flow of this game. But Tampa Bay, you've got to kind of look at that scoreboard and say, hey, we're lucky we're only down 7 right now.
And they might not be down 7 if they didn't get that turnover.
The fumble by LeGarrette Blount, forced by D'Angelo Hall on the last Bucs possession as Freeman finds his man. It really has been his first catch today. And the D.C. native, the rookie out of Illinois, takes it all the way down to the Redskins' 10-yard line.
Well, you saw how aggressive D'Angelo Hall has been all afternoon. He's watching everything. He lets Aurelius Ben run right by him. He's going for the punch again. Look at Aurelius Ben running after the catch.
At some point, you got to make a tackle, D'Angelo Hall. That strip was nice they had earlier, but you got to get him down on the ground. Luckily, he's a big guy.
Remember what Josh Freeman told us? He goes, when 17 has the ball in his hand, he just runs angry.
64 yards, longest pass play of the season for Tampa Bay. Now Freeman hands it off to LeGarrette Blount, and he's tackled from behind by Brian Orakpo after a short game.
That's a heck of a response by Josh Freeman and Aurelius Ben for that big play. I mean, they really have had no success up until this point offensively.
I like when you're talking to Josh Freeman and he says, Aurelius Ben, he runs angry after he catches the ball.
And that 64-yard completion, longest of Josh Freeman's 2-year career. Second down and 8. Cadillac Williams in the backfield. Inside handoff to Cadillac, looked to bounce it outside, then goes back up the middle for the Redskins 7.
Right now, there's not a lot in the game plan for this Tampa Bay offense. So as you're watching this, and sometimes you say, well, it kind of looks basic, it looks fundamental. You have to understand, we've talked about all the shifting in that offensive line. They've got 2 rookies playing guard. They got some young guys on the outside.
5 rookies starting on this offense.
Freeman on 3rd and 6. He throws, and it's off the hands of Mike Williams, rookie out of Syracuse, at the back of the end zone.
A lot of struggles in the red zone today. Here's Kellen Winslow. Here's somebody they thought they were going to be able to get some matchups with in that red zone. Good job passing him off through coverage. Michael Spurlock, Sammy Straughter, everybody covered. Let's check Mike Williams on the backside. There's the throw. It's up high. It's a wet day, but you got to make that catch.
Here's Connor Barth. 25-yard attempt from the right hash. Robert Malone is the holder. Snap from Andrew Economos, and the kick by Barth is good. So the Buccaneers are on the board. They trail the Redskins now 7-3. 2:22 remaining. Second quarter. Well, Monday, December 20th, Fox presents the only game show where you start, that's right, you start with $1 million. The hard part is keeping it. 7 questions, $1 million. Will they win it all or watch it fall? The $1 million drop. The week-long event begins Monday, December 20th on Fox. Well, the $1 million question for the Washington Redskins, could they run the football today against this Tampa Bay defense? And Ryan Terrain with a tremendous first half.
What an addition he's been to get him back into the lineup. We had Washington versus New York last week, and with Keelan Williams and James Davis, the running game just wasn't the same, and this offense is kind of based on that. We've seen the effect that how successfully they've run the ball has opened up some play action with Santana Moss on the boot. The touchdown to Logan Paulson, actually a result of how well Washington has run the ball so far during this game. We'll have to see if they can continue doing that. Tampa Bay has got to get to that sideline and find out, hey, what are we doing wrong here today? I mean, they're just dominating us at the line of scrimmage.
And it just goes back down right to fundamentals. You know, they're not tackling, they're not shedding blocks. Washington's doing a great job by just staying on their blocks and driving.
Low kick taken by Mike Sellers. And Sellers brings it out to the 39-yard line.
That's a real smart play by Mike Sellers, being in that position, get that ball caught cleanly. It was kicked low, so you've got a tremendous gap with your coverage because it got to you so quickly. Good starting field position again for Washington.
Redskins have entered the red zone 3 times. Graham Gano has missed 2 field goals. Now Donovan McNabb and the Redskins offense with 2:17 on the clock and 2 timeouts remaining. Ryan Terrain in the backfield. He has 139 yards on the ground. Here's Terrain. This is the 7th first down he has picked up. That's 2 more than the Buccaneers team.
This is a gash, Darryl. This isn't even, you want to talk about the lack of gap control? This isn't a gap. This is a parking space.
19 more yards, Goose, for Terrain. He now has 158. 2-minute warning in Landover. Rain continues to fall with the Redskins leading the Buccaneers 7-3. 2 minutes remaining, second quarter. First and 10 for Washington from the Tampa Bay 41. The screen to Keelan Williams, and Williams has a first down inside the 20, the 10, and finally knocked out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Williams gains 36.
They have just got Tampa Bay on their heels. Tampa Bay has no idea what is coming. And credit that offensive line and Ryan Terrain. They are so nervous about the run. Now, here comes the screen. Oh, hey, I'm finally going to be able to get to Donovan McNabb and get a sack. Oh, my goodness, there goes the guy out the back door. They're a day late and $1 short with everything they're doing defensively right now.
Armstrong in motion. First and goal from the Bucs 5. Here's Williams. And Williams is tackled by Corey Lynch. Down at the 2.
Well, having the Giants game last week, you know, it's just the difference between the game plan, Darryl. Last week, we didn't see a lot of screens. We didn't see a lot of short passes. They couldn't get the run game going. And today, like you said, everything is working for them. Donovan has the screen going. The passes downfield, the run, the play action. I mean, that game plan is wide open today. They can do anything they want, seems like, against this Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Play clock winding down. And the Redskins use their second timeout. There's Kyle Shanahan, offensive coordinator. Ryan Terrain with 158 yards on the ground. Second and goal coming up from the Bucs 2. The Visa halftime report is coming up at halftime with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Giants and Vikings postponed. They will play in Detroit tomorrow. Can the Falcons and Packers avoid upsets? That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report. Falcons leading Carolina 14-0. Green Bay and Detroit scoreless in the second quarter. Redskins looking to add to their lead. Williams in the backfield, Sellers fullback. 3 tight ends. Keelan Williams and Michael Bennett comes up to make the tackle along with Quincy Black.
They need to play, I'll tell you what, Tampa Bay's defense needs to play like on the whole field like they're playing in the red zone. Michael Bennett does a nice job. Penetration. Watch his defensive line. They stopped that whole offensive line right on the line of scrimmage. Now they're trying to attack the ball.
Well, he got off the block, Tony. One of the things you said they haven't been doing all first half. Michael Bennett got off of Fred Davis's block and worked his way down the line of scrimmage for the tackle.
Well, the Buccaneers do not elect to use a timeout, letting the clock run down.
Well, they went for it fourth down the last time they were here. You wonder why they let the amount of time burn off.
Now the Redskins use their final timeout with 20 seconds remaining.
Well, the key today has been Ryan Terrain, and he came out of the gates quick. Here's the opening drive for the Redskins, a huge run. Look at the holes that he has had the opportunity to run through. Being physical, downhill, and he has never had to stop his feet and change direction. Credit this Washington Redskins offensive line for a great afternoon for Ryan Terrain up until this point.
Now, why would the Redskins, Darryl, use their final timeout if they get stopped here on third down, not leaving themselves much time?
I don't know the clock management up until this point. They went for it on 4th and goal. The last series, you would think they would want more time. I'm assuming, number one, that you've just tipped your hand that you have to throw this ball.
Right.
I mean, I don't understand what they did. I mean,
they've taken Terrain out.
Yeah. I mean, you know that the ball is going to be thrown here.
Well, that play clock's down to 5 right now.
They can't call a timeout. Donovan's going to get a delay of game if he's...
Delay of game. Offense.
Redskins, for some reason, let the clock
third down.
Run down to 20 seconds and then burn that third timeout.
It's been absolutely some real questionable clock management here in this situation. They're down inside the 5 with over a minute to go, and it's been bizarre how they've done this.
Looked like McNabb was having trouble hearing the play call in his helmet.
Please set the game clock to 20 seconds. Thank you. Thank you.
Game clock has been reset to 20 seconds. But the Redskins called for a delay of game after they burned their third timeout. After they let the clock run all the way down. 3rd and goal. And McNabb's pass is short. Intended for Williams.
Right now, they deserve to be booed. That is some very, very interesting clock management, and it's really been the case this whole first half. I mean, Washington, now you're sending out Graham Gano, who's 0 for 2 right now. He almost missed the extra point on your touchdown. He can't have a whole lot of confidence. So the best you're going to be is 10-3, or it's a one-possession game. That was some very, very interesting clock management by Mike Shanahan.
For as much as they dominated them in the first half, the scoreboard does not reflect it at all.
So here's Gano, 25-yard attempt, and this one barely is good, just inside the left upright. But some bizarre clock management in this final minute by the Redskins. Gano finally connects after missing his first two.
Well, just by the way you let the clock run down and put yourself in a position with no timeouts left on third down, I mean, it's for Tampa Bay, they know that a pass play has got to come, because you can't run the risk of running it and getting stuffed with no timeouts. You've got to run your kicker on from the sideline to the deepest part of the field. We used to do a drill in Dallas. It takes you 15, 16 seconds. If you execute that flawlessly, you're at 20 seconds before the play snaps. I don't know why Mike Shanahan wanted to put his offense in that situation as he let the clock run down.
Again, the Visa halftime report coming up with Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Giants and Vikings postponed due to the roof collapse in Minneapolis. They will play at Ford Field in Detroit tomorrow, and the Falcons and Packers avoid upsets today. That's all coming up during the Visa halftime report. And before the situation with the Redskins, we pointed out that the Bucs had all three of their timeouts, yet they did not try and stop the clock so that they could get the ball back with a good amount of time remaining after the Redskins scored.
Well, if Washington's comfortable sabotaging their own plans, I would have stayed out of the way too.
Keeps it on the ground. And it's Preston Parker. He's forced out of bounds with 5 seconds remaining in this first half, and the Redskins leading 10-3. Washington with 272 yards of offense, including 158 on the ground from Ryan Terrain alone. Buccaneers had the ball for only 10 minutes in the first half. Freeman will take a knee. Bucs fortunate to trail by only 7. 2 missed field goals and poor clock management by the Redskins. So at the half, it's 10-3 Washington with the lead. The Visa halftime report is next. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. 10-3 lead for the Washington Redskins over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kenny Albert along with Darryl Johnston. Tremendous job by Ryan Terrain and the Redskins offense in the first half, but the Bucs only trail by a touchdown.
Yeah, they've almost doubled up Tampa Bay on total yards and time of possession, but that's meaningless if you're not doing something with it while you have the ball. And 2 missed field goals, some very strange clock management at the end of the first half, and they have to kick another field goal. It's a one-possession game. So as Tampa Bay goes into the locker room, hey, we've got to get this run defense figured out. And Ryan Terrain and this Washington Redskins offensive line controlled play in the entire first half. If you can get that sorted out, just realize you're one possession away with Josh Freeman and the guys that he has around him. You got a chance to get right back in this.
There's Ryan Terrain making his return after missing the last 4 games. Terrain rushing for 158 yards in the first half.
Now you take a look there. I mean, it's 2-1 almost, you know, when you look at yards and time of possession. But they really have 3-1 in first downs. You can see how much Washington has controlled the flow in the first half. But they only sit with a 7-point lead.
Bart's kickoff is bobbled at the 30-yard line. Ball is loose.
I tell you what, there was a bunch of Tampa Bay players near that ball. I'll be shocked if the Bucs don't come up with this one.
Barth kept it on the ground, kept it away from Brandon Banks. Looks like
HB Blades is motioning it out. Somebody,
looks like
Kedrick Golston might have been hurt.
Injured player down at the bottom of the pile. Golston back up. The Buccaneers have recovered.
And this is the second week in a row that we've had Washington, and one of the common themes is we just can't seem to do things right. We're our own worst enemy. I mean, here you have an outside linebacker, Chris Wilson, trying to pick up the ball and run with it on kickoff return before he has it secured. You got to catch it clean. If you don't catch it clean, you got to go down and just make sure you have possession.
Remember, Wilson had 2 opportunities to return kickoffs last week when the Giants kept it away from Brandon Banks. There's Rich Bisaccia, the Bucs special teams coach. Adam Hayward recovered for the Bucs. And Goose, you had a chance to chat with Tampa Bay head coach Raheem Morris at the half. What did he tell you?
You know, as far as the defense go, he said our defensive line definitely is the problem right now. We have to do a lot better job on the 3 technique and penetrating when we know it's going to be a run. And offensively, we got to run the ball, but we can't turn it over. And he was happy to be, like Moose said, 1 possession out. So we'll see what they do right here on offense.
Well, Goose, a short field for the Bucs from the Redskins 33. Blunt slips. And as Howie Long mentioned at halftime, the Bucs have fared very well in close games. They are 4-0 in games decided by 3 points or fewer this season.
Well, Josh Freeman, for whatever reason, seems to play best on 3rd down, better than 1st and 2nd. In the 4th quarter, better than the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd quarters. So it's a 7-5 season. It has been a great year for Tampa Bay up until this point. Exceeded a lot of people's expectations. A lot of that has been done in very, very close games in the 4th quarter.
Freeman with 10 career wins. 6 of them have been 4th quarter comebacks. Freeman moving to his left, dumps it off to the tight end Gilmore. There is a flag. We've not had very many penalty flags today. This is only the 3rd of the game. Referee Pete Morelli.
Holding, number 77 offense. 10-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
Right tackle James Lee, that is the 1st Tampa Bay penalty.
I was going to say that offensive line was doing a good job, but once a guy gets by, you can't drag him down right there, as you saw number 77, James Lee. You can't tackle the guy. You got to let him go. Once he beats you, you got about 1/1000. Then you got to let the defender go and hope that he doesn't get to the quarterback, or the quarterback gets the ball off in time.
Force the Bucs back 10 yards to the 43, and the play clock is already down to 5. Bucs get the snap away, but it looks like they call timeout first.
Timeout, Tampa Bay.
Play clock was at 1.
Timeout.
And Raheem Morris called timeout from the sideline.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. By Nissan's year-end sales event. For holiday offers, visit your local Nissan dealer today. And by K Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Every kiss begins with K.
In the rain, Redskins lead the Buccaneers 10-3. Following the Tampa Bay timeout, 2nd down and 20. Freeman under pressure, gets rid of it. Cadillac Williams. And it's London Fletcher who makes the tackle at the 40-yard line after a gain of just 3.
And they're having some protection issues up front, I think, Tony. Right now, the entire offensive line is gathered together trying to sort through this. Watch Brian Arapko. He's going to kind of come in unblocked. I mean, Donald Penn's there, but he's got his head down inside. I don't think he realized he needed to get kicked out to the outside. And he was immediately with Jeremy Zutaw trying to sort that out after that snap.
Well, Josh Freeman is in charge of calling the protections up front.
You see him right there.
Yeah.
3rd down and 17. Freeman over the top. There is a flag as Schroeder makes his 2nd reception, but not even close to a 1st down. Tackled at the 35.
Yeah, I tell you what, that defensive line had a good jump on the ball. Wouldn't be surprised if it's offsides. But
Offside. Defense, number 52. 5-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
It is Rocky McIntosh.
yeah, he's just, Rocky McIntosh just trying to get a jump on the ball right there. He sees something down inside, whether he's going off of a movement that Josh is giving to him or that he's getting off of the center. But sometimes when you take that jump, they delay it just a little bit, enough for you to go and get the offsides penalty yourself.
So now 3rd down and 12. Bucs must get to the 23-yard line for a first down. Three wide receivers, everybody out. Redskins were coming on the blitz. The catch is made by Cadillac Williams. He slips, and that is touchdown at the 26-yard line, 3 yards shy of the marker.
D'Angelo Hall, yeah, we've seen him and how he plays the cornerback position. He's looking for the interception. He's looking for the turnover. He's got an opportunity to absolutely stone Cadillac Williams right here, but he goes for the turnover. And he's very fortunate that Cadillac couldn't gain his balance right there. In that situation, secure the tackle so he's short.
So on 4th down and 3, Bucs send out Connor Barth, hit from 25 earlier. This is a 44-yard attempt from the right hash. Placed down by Malone, and Barth's kick is straight through. So the Bucs score 3 following the turnover on the opening kickoff. The Redskins lead is now 10-6. Early 3rd quarter with the Redskins leading the Bucs 10-6. Chris Wilson had trouble with the second half kickoff.
It's been raining a while. That field is a little slippery. A lot of choices on the sideline. I bet you each guy on this team has 10 pairs of different pairs of shoes for different turf and grass and wetness and all kinds of stuff. When they chose the right one.
Brandon Banks hopes he chose the right one. Brought down just shy of the 25-yard line. 21-yard return. Here comes the Redskins offense. Coming up in under a month, Friday, January 7th, one of the most anticipated bowl games of the season, as the LSU Tigers take on the Texas A&M Aggies in a rivalry that is over 110 years old. Our exclusive coverage of the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic live from Cowboy Stadium begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, January 7th in high def, right here on Fox. Redskins start from their own 25-yard line. Ryan Terrain is tackled by Michael Bennett. Terrain 158 yards on the ground in the first half.
Just unbelievable how this Washington offensive line took control of the game, and you can see right there Donovan McNabb, only has to go 10 of 14 in that passing game, because look what Ryan Terrain did. 19 rushes for 158.
Wow. Best first half in the NFL since Tiki Barber ran for 171 against the Redskins back in 05. 2nd and 9, Terrain again. Remember, he ran for 54 on his first carry today and bottled up a couple of times early in this second half.
That was a better job of that defensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on a zone block. What happened was the Washington Redskins offensive line tried to cut on the backside. Roy Miller did a nice job of staying up on his feet. That's what they have to do. They cannot be down on the ground, because that's why those cutback lanes are there. And that's why you're going to see them huge runs by Ryan Terrain.
3rd down and 9. McNabb out of the shotgun. Redskins must get to the 35. McNabb fires. Anthony Armstrong met by Quincy Black at the 32-yard line, 3 yards shy, so the Redskins forced the punt.
And that's what happens. You get into those long 3rd down situations because you weren't successful running the football on 1st and 2nd down. Tampa Bay's going to rush 3, drop 8 into coverage, fill up all those zones.
Yeah, Tampa Bay doesn't have to do much, Darryl. They just got to fix that 1st down. 1st down is killing them right now.
So the Redskins go 3 and out for the first time today. Hunter Smith's punt, end over end, taken at the 31 by Spurlock. 8-yard return to the 39. Early 3rd quarter here in Landover, Maryland. Donovan McNabb and the Redskins lead by 4.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. The signal is yours. Wield it to transmit anything you want. Verizon.
That right there is a bad Santa Claus, in my opinion. He's got the mistletoe up here, Darryl, looking for a little bit of a kiss, but The mustache has got to be up under the nose, above the lip. You can't be gnawing on the mustache, all right? Kids, if you see this, this is an imposter right there. How about the little one, Sparrow?
Hope it doesn't come down your chimney, Goose. Good starting field position for the Bucs. The end around to Aurelius Ben. And Ben is tackled like it may have been a horse collar at the Redskins 44 after picking up 18.
That's one way to get it in his hands, Darryl.
Well, yeah, they haven't really been able to get the ball to Aurelius Ben to allow him to run, which is his strength. And he saw the great run after the catch earlier today. And on that one, D'Angelo Hall did a nice job following him across the field in that motion, because Mike Williams had a nice block on the outside. They were looking at a pretty big play down that Redskins sideline.
From the 44, LeGarrette Blount, forced back by Lorenzo Alexander.
Washington's defensive front has done a good job with LeGarrette Blount of getting him to stop his feet. He's getting the ball. He's coming into the line of scrimmage. They've got every gap filled. There's really nowhere for him to go. And he has a tendency to stop his feet.
I know he didn't play last week, but do you see anything different without Albert Hainsworth from this Redskins defense?
Well, you know, I think that the distraction that it was during the course of the year, and some guys said it wasn't, but, you know, the one point that was made to us is the coaches had an opportunity to coach this week.
There's Cadillac Williams, and he picks up a first down.
So, you know, one of the things that Albert did is he wanted to play his own style of defense. He wanted to have packages put in for him, so they weren't able to get a real good game plan going.
Distraction, big distraction.
That's what Philip Daniels told us. He said the coaches were able to coach. We got more done in practice.
Should have probably done that earlier with Albert Hainsworth, but you have a good player like that, but he only comes in and plays when he wants to play. The best thing to do is get him out of there and have the guys go and circle up and put a little bit of pressure on that defensive line like you're seeing right now and challenge him a little bit. And they're responding right now.
There's Blount up the middle. Kendrick Golston wrapped him up. Gain of 3, and Hainsworth earlier this week suspended for the final 4 games for conduct detrimental to the club. Deactivated prior to last week's game against the Giants.
And one of the big things is, and we talked about at the top, what Mike Shanahan wants from his players. He wants you to be on time, he wants you to practice hard, and he wants you to play hard. And they weren't seeing that from Albert. And you can't have a different set of rules for one person on the team. So
I think every coach expects that, right, Darryl? I mean,
well, no, you shouldn't even expect that. That should be given by a player.
That should be a given. You shouldn't have to go and say, hope that a guy comes and is on time to meetings and participates and wants to win. You got to want to play like this defensive line is playing right now.
Well, we've been talking about the Redskins D-line. Philip Daniels and Kendrick Golston. Freeman sacked back at the 35.
And one of the concerns that Washington had is even when they got to Josh Freeman, would they be able to get him down? I mean, he's a big, strong guy. And you got to get him wrapped up. They wanted to get his arms pinned down at the side. You know, Phillips said he reminds him a lot of Ben Roethlisberger in those situations with guys hanging all over him. He's able to stay on his feet and make throws down the field.
Now 3rd down and 11. Play clock at 2. Freeman fires. And Kellen Winslow Jr. makes the catch at the 23-yard line.
Kellen Winslow working off that slot right there. Nice route, good change of direction. Good fit. Reed Dowdy just misses it.
First catch today for Winslow. Our yellow line, of course, is unofficial. Here come the chains. D'Angelo Hall involved with a couple of bucks. And the Bucs do in fact pick up the first down.
Winslow and Hall having a little conversation, trying to figure out, you know, if they had the first down or not. This is just normal stuff, people. Don't get nervous. That was a first down. No, it wasn't. I'm sure they're just being very respectful to each other.
Very polite to each other, right, Goose?
Absolutely.
So the Bucs move the change. This will be their 7th play of the drive. Their longest drive as far as plays in this game. From the 23, the handoff to Blunt. And Blunt takes it down to the 18-yard line for a gain of 5.
Looks like Blunt's having a little bit of a tough time of keeping his feet underneath him, Darryl. On that one run right here to the outside, it looks like he had a stutter step a little bit on the cutback. There's Hall again getting involved.
Some more extracurricular activity following the play.
D'Angelo Hall got lucky right there.
Yeah, you don't want to be touching those guys.
He's lucky he's not on his way up the tunnel.
Striped shirts that mean out of bounds. No, do not touch. It's like a red jersey in practice. Don't touch the guy with the red jersey. Usually the quarterback.
2nd down and 5. Here's Blunt. D'Angelo Hall a little quieter after that play.
Kellen Winslow is on the sideline. He's back on the field now. And I don't know if that was Raheem Morris seeing that something bad was going to happen if he didn't get him onto the sideline and help him get his composure a little bit. We'll see if he's going to be a smart player.
Third down and 4. Cadillac Williams helping out Freeman with the protection call. And Freeman's pass broken up by London Fletcher.
Washington's had a couple opportunities today to have key interceptions. D'Angelo Hall missed one early in the game when he jumped a route. London Fletcher has an opportunity on this one. He recognizes the route, jumps in front of Michael Spurlock. Again, the 2nd time today, you know, D'Angelo Hall and now London Fletcher, they do everything right but come down with the interception.
So a 35-yard attempt. Connor Barth is 2 for 2 today. From the right hash, he's hit from 25 and 44 yards out. Barth makes it 3 for 3. So the Buccaneers have pulled to within 1. We welcome you back. 10-play, 44-yard drive by the Bucs. Connor Barth connecting on his 3rd field goal attempt as they have pulled to within 1. There's Brandon Banks back deep for the Redskins. He was in minicamp with the Bucs during the offseason. Again, Barth keeps it on the ground. Mike Sellers scoops it up. So the Bucs, like the Giants last week, keeping the ball away from Banks on kickoffs. Sellers brings it out to the 30. Redskins lead the Buccaneers 10-9. With producer Barry Landis, director Michael Frank, Kenny Albert, Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Donovan McNabb, 11 of 15, 115 yards and a touchdown pass to Logan Paulson in the 2nd quarter. The only touchdown in this game.
Yeah, but things came kind of easy for the Washington Redskins in that first half. They were able to establish control at the line of scrimmage. Ryan Terrain has a great first half. And it's amazing to me, you go in at halftime, you challenge your guys up front. You heard Tony talk about his conversation with Raheem Morris. The problem was in the D-line. Well, Tampa Bay's defense comes out, has their first 3 and out of the game to start the 2nd half. The pressure is now on Washington's offense.
McNabb looking to set up the screen on 1st down. But it did not fool Styles G. White.
Nice awareness by Styles G. That ball was almost intercepted. A lot of pressure on Donovan McNabb. See him step back here in the pocket. Pressure. I don't know. I would have thrown that one away.
Yeah, you know what Fred Davis has got to do a better job of selling it, Tony. When you just stand up and you've got Styles G. White in front of you, you're not blocking him, you're not doing anything but kind of mirroring him, automatically he thinks screen.
You got to slide to the sideline.
You got to do something.
Get away from him.
Well, push him down the field and then come back and get in the screen. That way one of your linemen can block him.
2nd and 15, and this one is nearly picked off by Geno Hayes.
That's 2 in a row, Darryl.
He got a little bit of, he was influenced by the throw, by the pressure up the middle, but still low and away. He's lucky that he was low.
Redskins only 1 yard on offense here in the 3rd quarter. They had 272 in the 1st half. 3rd down and 15. McNabb, the quick out to Santana Moss. And Moss is tripped up. Looks to be just short. Tackled at the 45, 1 yard shy of the marker.
He's going to be very disappointed. Santana Moss very, very good in the open field. There's Roydell Williams down the field blocking some cut blocks, and then looks like Myron Lewis comes in and just gets enough of him. Number 23 right there kind of trips those feet up, doesn't allow him to hit the ground with any balance.
Needed 15, Moss gained 14. 2nd consecutive 3 and out for the Redskins. Hunter Smith just gets it away. Angled towards the sideline. Spurlock out of bounds at the 20. 2.5 remaining, 3rd quarter, with the Redskins leading by 1. The New York Giants tied with the Philadelphia Eagles at 8-4. Giants and Vikings postponed until tomorrow. They will play at Ford Field in Detroit. And our coverage on Fox begins at 7 in the New York and Minnesota markets.
Think Brett Favre will play, Darryl?
I don't know. He's come out and
one
said...
extra day, man. That's a year for a player.
Yeah, but I mean, to hear him say he wasn't going to be able to play today if the game had gone off scheduled at its normal time, I don't know how much better you get in 24 hours.
Man, that might have been a little psyche, though. You know, he's a savvy veteran. Got the little head games that he plays.
We will have an extra 30 hours. Josh Freeman on 1st down, and that's the first catch today from Mike Williams, the rookie out of Syracuse. Out to the 35, a gain of 15.
And good patience by Josh Freeman right here, allowing Mike Williams to work into a window where he's got the throwing lane. Into that 2nd window on a slant.
He threaded that ball right in there, huh, D?
He really did. I mean, the Redskins dropped back, had a lot of those windows closed down. I've been impressed watching Josh Freeman work in the pocket. He does not look like a 2nd-year quarterback.
Not just working the pocket. How about working the protection up front, letting everybody know where he's going? Has 2 rookie guards out there, 2 rookie wide receivers.
Off the play fake. There's one of the rookies you've been talking about, Goose. That's Ben. Close to another Bucs 1st down. But we head to another game break. Here's Kurt.
Oakland and Jacksonville, and Darren McFadden maybe copying Ryan Terrain. 51-yard touchdown run here. He had a 67-yard touchdown reception earlier in the game. 164 total yards and 2 scores for McFadden. It's 24-14. Plenty of time left in the 3rd quarter. Kenny Moose and Goose.
You're right, Kurt. He is challenging Ryan Terrain. He ran for 158 in the 1st half for the Redskins. 1st and 10 Bucs from their own 45. The handoff to Cadillac Williams. And Williams gains 4 out to the 49.
One of the good feel-good stories in the NFL, in my opinion. He's coming back from an injury that a lot of people don't come back from. And Cadillac Williams, when you talk about the running back spot and a patella tendon injury, there's not a lot of guys who can make it back that are playing a skill position. And it's great to see him out there. He's carving his own little niche in this offense. LeGarrette Blount has become the pounder, but Cadillac is a great 3rd down back, and he gives him a nice little changeup. And you heard Tony talk about LeGarrette Blount having trouble with the footing. Let's see how Cadillac handles it.
On 2nd down, this is Ben. Really is Ben. Grew up here in the D.C. area. D.C. Player of the Year at Dunbar High School. And he's excited to play here at FedEx Field. Used to attend Redskin games. He said Terry Allen, the former great running back, once threw his gloves up into the stands. Ben caught him. So he actually had a catch at a Redskin home game prior to today. Time winding down in his third quarter.
Full of information, Kenny.
Darryl, you may have been here that day. It was at a Redskins-Cowboys game.
I don't have fond memories of FedEx Field, Kenny.
Well, that will do it for the third quarter, with the Redskins clinging to a 1-point lead over the Buccaneers. Swore last week against Atlanta.
Yeah, there's a couple out there that I like. I like when they go throwback. I like New England's throwback. I liked Tampa Bay's throwback. But whatever Green Bay was wearing last week, I don't want to go to that. It was kind of like that.
What color was that, Darryl?
I think they went so far back that they had to paint the real helmet the color of the old leather helmet.
Looked like dirt. It looked like dirt.
There's Freeman on the sneak on 3rd and 1. And he looks to have the first down.
That's one of the things you have to know in your scouting report is when they run the quarterback sneak, Josh Freeman doesn't go straight ahead behind the center. He'll step back off the line a little bit, and they've got like a little play. Watch him slide to his left, and then they block down. They try and get Ernest Graham up there, and they get offset just a bit.
Josh Freeman's got to watch. Can't turn your back like that. You got to get down a little lower. Two's a tall man. Big target there.
6'6". Listed at 248. New set of downs for the Bucs. From the 44, the play fake to Cadillac Williams. Freeman going deep for Mike Williams. It's D'Angelo Hall on the coverage.
Again, just great feel in the pocket, and he knows that Brian Arakpo is coming. He's going to be coming from his backside, but he hangs in there. He's going to step up to avoid Phillip Daniels, gives him the time to throw, and he knows he's going to take that hit, but he stands in. And watch D'Angelo Hall at the point of the catch. Gets his head around, tracks the ball, gets the hand up. It's about as good as you can do on the outside as a corner.
If he threw that comeback, Darryl, that would have been, I'll tell you what, Mike Williams was wide open on that comeback route.
2nd and 10. Play action again. Freeman's pass sails away from the intended receiver, the tight end, John Gilmore. Kellen Winslow in the vicinity as well, so a 3rd and 10 coming up for the Bucs, who trail by 1.
Now this is a real pivotal play right here. Tampa Bay's really dominated play in the second half. It was all Washington the first half. It's been all Tampa Bay here in the second.
Play clock at 3. Freeman on 3rd and 10. Steps up. Now he fires downfield. Ben makes a diving catch down at the 1. A spectacular catch by Aurelius Ben. 43-yard pass play.
Wide open, huh, D?
Yeah, watch this, Goose. They're going to bring pressure. They had a little bit of a collision here as they start to do it. They're going to kind of cross in, and watch, we get a bump right there. That slows Chris Wilson down, gets him off track. Maybe the extra tick that Josh Freeman needed. You saw him go up to the line of scrimmage at the end. There it is again. Stands up, moves into the front. Boy, he got beat up on that. Look at his chin straps up over his face.
He wanted to see if the ball was caught.
I tell you what, he's
competitive.
Oh! Freeman lost the football. Now the Redskins have recovered.
Wow.
First and goal from the 1. Tampa Bay turns it over.
Today's game is sponsored by Despicable Me. Bring home the comedy event on Blu-ray and DVD this Tuesday. By Autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars side by side at Autotrader.com. And by Burger King. Have it your way.
Buccaneers turn the ball over on 1st and goal from the 1. Recovered by London Fletcher in the end zone. Touchback. Redskins will start from their own 20. Terrain in the backfield. McNabb looking to throw on 1st down. And it's E.J. Biggers who went for the pick, pass intended for Santana Moss.
I'm not a big fan of pulling linemen on the goal line, and here's one of the reasons. Watch right guard Derek Hardman. Watch his left hand as he goes to pull. He actually punches it out of Josh Freeman's hand. Now, the reason that I don't like pulling linemen on the goal line is everybody's coming forward to create penetration. So when you pull, it's so hard unless you're trapping or running a wham where you're bringing somebody back in and using that penetration against the defense. But there's another example of why you don't want to be pulling people on the goal line, especially in close to the center.
Here's Terrain. Turns it upfield in games 3. So Hardman, the rookie out of Eastern Kentucky, making contact with Freeman. Hardman making his first NFL start today, and the Buccaneers, after that big pass play to Ben, turn it over right around the goal line.
Turner was now critical to this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team.
Yeah. Well, that, you know how important they are during the course of the season, during the course of a game, Tony. It's one of the tipping points in a game. You can look at that box score and can't figure out why a certain team lost, and then all of a sudden you see the turnover situation. So a couple of tough ones for Tampa Bay this afternoon.
They're down in 7. McNabb's pass a bit low, intended for Cadillac Williams, so the Buccaneers will get the ball right back.
All right, Tony, I got to ask you a question. You're a defense, and you've gotten beat up the entire first half. You go in at halftime. I mean, what can be said? How can you be challenged to come out and play this much better in the second half?
The coach gets right in your face. That's exactly how you go. And that's what Raheem actually said. He said he's going to go in there, he's going to talk to his defense line. They got to play better. We were trying to look for what the problem was, and we thought it was the linebackers, we thought it was the defensive backs, but it was the 3 technique and the inside guys, and they're playing so much different now in the second half with penetration and securing tackles, all the fundamentals that we talk about week in and week out, and that's the difference in this second half with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense.
They force 3 3-and-outs. Bucs on offense next. Big turnaround here in the second half. Redskins with no first down since halftime, and there's Josh Johnson, backup quarterback. We've seen this before this season. Both Joshes are on the field.
Interesting that they would put D'Angelo Hall out on your backup quarterback.
Josh Freeman takes the snap, 1st and 10, 38-yard line. Freeman steps up and takes off, slides, and is hit by Rocky McIntosh at the 44, a gain of 6.
Tell you what, Josh Johnson came off the ball pretty good. He was out there running downfield. Take a look at his route right here. D'Angelo Hall in the coverage. He's down there looking for a little. He was expecting a ball, it looked like. Yeah, Josh Freeman decides to go, and didn't look that good to him, and decides to go and take a little slide right there. Safe, get your 6 yards, 2nd and 4.
Josh Johnson, 4 starts last year at quarterback, his first NFL start right here in Washington. 2nd down and 4. The handoff to Cadillac Williams, and he's bottled up. Reed Doughty coming up to make the tackle, no gain.
Well, if you're going to go and run that play, you got to, when you come around and you pull, you got to really go and get there early.
They're doing that long trap, Goose. They're bringing a tight end on the backside all the way across.
Ryan Purvis right there. He gets the block, but Cadillac Williams is waiting for him to get that block. He's got to get there, and Cadillac Williams got to come right off his butt. That's where that lane was. It was there. He just pulls a little faster.
We saw Kendrick Golston limp off the field. Now 3rd down and 3. Freeman being chased. Gets rid of it. And it was Chris Wilson who replaced the injured Golston who applied the pressure.
And he does that as well as anybody in the league. Josh Freeman understanding the rules at the quarterback position and not taking a junk sack. You know, you're running around, you run out of bounds, and you lose yardage. Just get outside the pocket and throw it away. You watch him on film, he does a good job. Kellen Winslow got held pretty good there by London Fletcher. Lucky they didn't get a flag thrown on that. Automatic 1st down.
Robert Malone punting from his own 35. Terrific kick. Wow, forcing Banks all the way back to the 3. Looking for somewhere to go. Good coverage downfield. Ernest Graham.
A little bit of frustration right there by Brandon Banks. He hasn't had the ball kicked to him very often.
Nope.
Chooses to field one inside the 5.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa. More people go with Visa.
In the rain, Redskins lead the Bucs 10-9, but the Washington offense has come to a complete halt here in the second half after a big first half.
Unbelievable the difference with this Redskin offense from first half to second half.
272 yards in the first half, no first downs in the second half. McNabb's pass is complete to Mike Sellers. There's a first down for the Redskins, and Sellers running hard, finally tackled after picking up 25 yards.
How about that little shoulder there at the end, Darryl? Boom! And keep running.
He's a big guy, and watch how he's got the little short choppy steps. He's got a great center of gravity. He never gets overstrided where he's all vulnerable for a hit. He's just freight training people down the sideline.
Sellers went to the Pro Bowl 2 seasons ago. Redskins started from their own 10, their worst starting field position today. Now out at the 35-yard line, leading by 1. Off the play fake to Rain, then the fake to Moss. The pass is broken up, intended for Sellers. Adam Hayward got a hand on it.
Well, you'd expect a little bit more separation on this play. You watch all the action in the backfield. Adam Hayward does a good job just focusing on his guy. But you would have thought that Mike Sellers would have more separation because of the play action that went on with Donovan McNabb in the backfield.
Now 2nd and 10, Moss in motion. Terrain. Ryan Terrain picks up a Redskins first down out to the 47. His best run here in the second half. He gains 12.
Haven't they learned yet that this guy, Terrain, is not going down with an arm tackle?
Well, look what happens, Goose, but you lose guys because as these guys squeeze down and they chase Donovan McNabb on the boot, you got 2 guys that pull off with their contain on the backside. So the impact that Donovan McNabb has by carrying out that fake, it takes away everybody in pursuit from the backside.
Here's Terrain again. Roy Miller makes the tackle. After a gain of 1, Ryan Terrain now with 23 carries, 176 yards on the ground. He has 8 carries of at least 10 yards. A career game for Terrain. 3rd 100-yard game of the season. Now 2nd down and 8. McNabb wrapped up. Down he goes. Geno Hayes with the sack. His first of the season.
Geno Hayes had an opportunity to knock that ball out. He goes after Donovan for the sack, but watch how the ball's out on Donovan. Here it comes clean freeze. Look at his hand. It's wide out. You got to go and secure with the left hand and swipe at that ball. They need a turnover. They need to get the momentum there on that Tampa's side.
Redskins a +1 here today. Bucs have turned it over twice. Redskins just once after Washington committed 6 turnovers against the Giants last week. 3rd down and 13. McNabb wrapped up. Look to get it to Cadillac Williams. Rondé Barber with the pressure. And the Redskins forced to punt.
Well, the Redskin offensive line has done a great job with the run blocking today, but Donovan McNabb has been under duress. And a lot of times it's been with pressure coming from the linebacker or the secondary level. We saw Geno Hayes in there earlier on this drive. There's Rondé Barber getting to Donovan McNabb. So having a lot of trouble with their blitz pickups.
Hunter Smith punting from his own 33, end over end. Spurlock lets it bounce in front of him. And the Buccaneers will start from their own 20. They continue to trail the Redskins by 1, midway through the 4th quarter. Rain continues to fall with the Redskins leading by 1. Josh Freeman, 12 of 21 today. LeGarrette Blount, 55 yards on the ground, and for really has been his first 100-yard game in the NFL. First and 10 from the 20. Here's Blunt. And LeGarrette Blunt takes it all the way out to the 30 before he is finally brought down by Lorenzo Alexander.
And you can just see the difference when there's a running lane for LeGarrette Blunt and he doesn't have to stop his feet. He is a handful to get to the ground. Here comes the physical finish on the run. Phillip Buchanan, you cannot go up around his shoulder pads.
Or you're going to go for a ride just like that. I think.
Put a quarter in the pocket.
Absolutely.
One averaging 5 yards a carry today. Freeman setting up the screen to Gilmore. And Gilmore picks up another Bucs first down out to the 45-yard line. Gain of 15.
Let's see how John Gilmore does selling this screen, because we saw it a couple of times that he used by both teams. He's going to be over here on this side. Brian Arakpo forced to drop back in coverage. A nice job by Ted Larson being able to circle back and find Brian Arakpo back there, but didn't have to sell it as much as I thought he would need to.
Larson, the rookie left guard out of North Carolina State. One of those 5 offensive starters, Tony's we talked about. From the 45, here's Blunt on first down. Gain of 3. Under 6 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Redskins leading by 1. Remember, the Redskins have missed 2 field goals today back in the first half. Buccaneers have not reached the end zone. They have 3 field goals from Connor Barth. And they had a key fumble. Buccaneers have first and goal from the Washington 1 early in this fourth quarter. Second down and 7. Freeman on the slant, intended for Mike Williams. Phillip Buchanan on the coverage.
And he's had a nice afternoon today because he was exposed last week against the Giants. They really came after him with Derek Hagan, and today Phillip Buchanan has played very, very well. Look at the adjustment right there. Beaten a little bit off the release, recovers very nicely, locates the ball.
Must get to the Redskins 45. Freeman throws. Catch is made by Cadillac Williams, and Cadillac picks up a first down.
You got to give this one to the Tampa Bay offensive line because Josh Freeman had a lot of time, which is going to enable Cadillac Williams to get out. The big matchup, Donald Penn with Brian Arakpo, who's had a nice afternoon, washes him all the way down to the inside. Cadillac sneaks out into that vacant zone right there. Able to turn it upfield, get enough yards for the first down.
So the Bucs on the move. 4:45 remaining. They trail by 1. From the Redskins 41, the handoff to Blunt. And he is tackled from behind by Reed Doughty.
Reed Doughty just comes from the outside. Nobody even blocks him, comes right down. See him here on the outside, just comes down and makes the tackle. He's lucky that it wasn't a fake inside. He was there before the ball was there almost.
And good timing.
Yeah, great.
Fans chanting defense. Second down and 10. Play clock at 2. Freeman over the top to Winslow. Kellen Winslow takes it into the end zone for a Buccaneers touchdown.
Well, here's a matchup that Josh Freeman felt that they were going to be able to exploit a little bit. London Fletcher has done a great job all afternoon in the middle of the field. Kellen Winslow just going to go down the seam. It's actually Rocky McIntosh who's got him this time. Just gets turned around, and the ball is put in a good spot.
Got to go for 2 in this situation.
Up by 5, Buccaneers will go for 2 following the 41-yard touchdown pass from Freeman to Winslow.
Josh Freeman impressive today, Darryl.
Well, you got everybody bunched up. Now you got Kellen Winslow down here. That's a big height advantage against Reed Dowdy. Could be a jump ball to the outside. Kareem Moore working over that way.
Freeman wants to take it in himself.
Look at that, he drove right in the end zone. That 6'6" helped him out, Kenny.
That's it, Goose. Josh Freeman for the 2-point conversion, and the Buccaneers now lead by 7.
When you meet Josh Freeman, he has such a calm demeanor, but I want you to watch his reaction after this. Number one, the effort. They've got him stopped. He just continues to drive, and he is so pumped up after this conversion.
London Fletcher read it very, very well, hit him. But Josh Freeman just driving his legs, like Darryl said, and gets in the end zone.
Goose, I don't know who the defensive lineman was for Washington that came in to try and help, but it looked like he gave him the momentum necessary to get London pushed back over and allow Josh to get into the end zone.
And we've mentioned the fourth quarter comebacks. 10 career wins for Josh Freeman. In 6 of the 10, he has led comebacks in the fourth quarter, including 4 this year. What do you think Mike Shanahan is showing Pete Morelli here?
And I don't, it won't matter anyways because he can't do anything about it. Could be illegal formation, too many men on the field, something that was captured in the pictures.
Mike wants to get his point across.
This is the touchdown throw. Now Donald Penn, watch him come into the right side of your screen. You see his arms right here. This is Donald Penn working against Brian Arapco. But watch, he's going to put his arms up in the air. I tell you, Goose, we see it time and time again. If you don't grab that jersey and tug, if you get those arms up and extended, they let that one go.
Yep. Haven't been a lot of flags in this game.
This time, Banks with an opportunity. And Brandon Banks brings it out across the 40. There is a flag. Finally tackled at the 47 because of field position with under 4 minutes remaining. Bucs elected to kick it deep that time.
He has had
Jury
such a
return, holding, number 45 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Mike Sellers. He's a veteran. He should know better than that. But Brandon Banks has had such a tough year. He's had 2 called back on penalties. He had one that would have helped him beat the Minnesota Vikings on a punt return. There he is. If you go to the ground, and I say this a lot, if you go to the ground, you're going to get a holding call. I would say 80% of the time.
Hands inside, too.
You
His
see,
hands
that's
are
Danny
outside
Smith,
the
right?
box.
I guarantee you, Danny Smith is furious. That is not a great call, because Mike Sellers is a big physical guy, and where his hands outside, maybe a little bit, but he drove him to the ground.
Redskins lose 22 yards on the penalty. And McNabb's pass is caught by Santana Moss. Let's see, now it's ruled down at the 40. Hit the ground. Santana tried to sell it.
That was a pretty good sell. He almost got me on that, Kenny.
He's trying to sell his staff right now that he had the catch.
What is he saying? To hit his arm?
There we
It
go.
bounced off his arm and not the ground.
Mike Shanahan throws the challenge flag. So Pete Morelli will take a look at it.
Now remember, on the field, it was ruled incomplete. You're going to have something that definitively shows that Santana Moss completed the process on this catch.
Washington challenging the ruling on the field, but the pass was...
Again, the ruling on the field was incomplete. We'll take a look at all the angles and have some information when we get back.
Pete Morelli taking a look at the last play, the pass from McNabb to Moss.
And I think the important thing on this play is it was ruled incomplete on the field, and you're going to have a lot of angles where, well, it could have been, it might have been, possibly, but nothing real definitive. Mike, what do you think? Mike Pereira.
Yeah, you know, I think here's the issue here. When you watch that ball, it actually looks like it does turn over and hit the ground. I just don't think, again, this is one of those, and Moose, you are so right. You've got to really focus on what was called on the field, and because they called incomplete on this, based on that ball rolling out and look like it maybe touches the ground, I think you got to leave it as stands. Won't be confirmed, but I think stands. Watch it roll here. Watch it roll right there.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass.
All right, we thank Mike Pereira, the Fox Command Center. Mike said it will
timeout.
probably be a stands and not confirms. Stands means that there was not enough to overturn.
Thank you, Mike.
Nice job, Michael.
Mike Pereira, the former vice president of officiating for the National Football League, doing a terrific job.
Quite a dresser, too.
Yes. So now it's a 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. As McNabb finds Chris Cooley. It's his first catch today, and Rondé Barber makes the tackle, gain of 7.
And really one of the things that you wonder how that can be Chris Cooley's first catch of the day.
I'll tell you what, Darryl, though, his role has completely changed. You see him down here on the field. He does a lot of blocking on the line of scrimmage and max protection. I'll tell you what, he doesn't go out for a lot of routes.
You know, it's amazing to me, too, because when you think of Mike Shanahan's offense, the first guy that jumps to mind for me is Shannon Sharp. I mean, there's got to be great opportunities for Chris Cooley in this offense.
3rd down and 4, complete. Anthony Armstrong picks up a first down out of the 40-yard line.
That's a good job of bouncing back by this Redskin offense after that big play by Santana Moss did not pan out. Donovan McNabb taking some short throws underneath, and it's really kind of been what Tampa Bay was going to challenge this Redskin offense to do. They were going to force them to try and drive the field. They did not want to let them get the big plays over the top.
McNabb steps up, throws complete to Cooley for another Washington first down. As we approach the 2-minute warning, Chris Cooley with 2 receptions on this drive, playing in his 100th NFL game. This one good for 15.
Washington doing a much better job with their blitz pickup. You saw Rondé Barber coming around, a little bit of help by Trent Williams, and then Keelan Williams right there to mop up.
So the Redskins on the move, looking to tie the score. They trail by 7. Buccaneers with the go-ahead touchdown and 2-point conversion here in the 4th quarter. Redskins trail by 7, 2 minutes remaining. 1st and 10 from the Buccaneers 45. McNabb from the shotgun. It's Keelan Williams. And Williams picks up a Redskins first down out of bounds at the Tampa Bay 30. 15-yard pickup.
Smart play by Keelan Williams, extending it as far as you can, putting yourself in a position to be able to duck out of bounds on the sidelines. Donovan McNabb, excellent patience on this drive. I mean, Tampa has done a good job of dropping back. They're not going to let anything get over the top on him. He's been very patient working the underneath options.
Minute 52 on the clock from the Bucs 30. This pass intended for Williams. Rondé Barber got a piece of it.
Rondé Barber, what an opportunity he had there for a turnover. Donovan McNabb looks downfield and throws. I don't even think he sees Rondé Barber.
No way.
Wow.
There's no way he saw him, Goose.
Oh.
Cooley in motion. 2nd and 10 for the Redskins. McNabb over the top to Keelan Williams. And Williams wrapped up at the 21-yard line, just shy of a first down.
That clock is ticking down.
Well, they did such a good job at the end of the first half with their clock management.
Third down and 1. McNabb complete to Moss for a first down. Santana Moss to the Buccaneers 12.
I tell you, the guys who needed to step up in this situation have stepped up. Chris Cooley early in the drive, now Santana Moss. Those are your playmakers. Rondé Barber just misses on the blitz again. They've made some corrections. They've been better with pickups, and Donovan has recognized it better.
McNabb throws complete. Anthony Armstrong ruled down at the 3.
But they've got 2 timeouts left. Holy smokes.
Yeah, the coaches on the sideline are screaming at the officials for timeout.
They finally use one with 32 seconds remaining. Redskins lost their first timeout on the challenge. Now have 1 remaining.
I wonder in that situation if does Mike Shanahan take control of the timeout, you think, Goose, that the guys on the field don't have the option? I mean, Donovan,
they were all
you
looking
should
to
know
the
that should be
sideline,
something that comes in. And, you know, hey, in that huddle, you know, the talk is, hey, we're going to run a slant route as it comes in. If you catch it and you're still in bounds, you got to pop up and call a timeout.
And Mike Shanahan's on the 15-yard line right now talking to the official. I think he's telling him, I want a timeout right after this play also. Yeah, it is coming from Mike Shanahan.
You saw the timeout situation. Redskins have 1. All challenges and reviews come from upstairs now in the final 2 minutes. Second down and 1 from just inside the 3.
Keep an eye on Chris Cooley here.
McNabb, corner on the end zone. Roydell Williams, the intended receiver. E.J. Biggers on the coverage.
I think it's a good no call.
Yeah, this isn't a call.
He gets his head around. The biggest thing is Philip Buchanan got his head around. Roydell Williams makes it look a lot better than it was. That's a heck of a sell job. E.J. Biggers, I'm sorry.
Third down and 1. Ryan Tulane initially stuffed, forced back, and brought down at the 6 by Tim Crowder.
I think that Mike Shanahan controls the timeouts, Tony. He was all the way, he was inside the 10-yard line with the officials.
Yeah. I was going to interview him. He was so close to me. Tell you what, this is a nice job of Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense running to the ball, securing the tackle. They went from 2nd and 1 now to 3rd and 4. And that's it for the Redskins as far as timeouts go.
Yeah, now you got to go shots into the end zone. There is no option to run the football. That's an all or nothing move in that situation. And I agree, Tony, a lot of times you see that running back go up into the line of scrimmage, and when he gets jammed up and bounces outside, so many guys commit to where he was initially that there's nobody there to be able to adjust to it. Tampa Bay did a good job working down the line of scrimmage.
Well, Tampa Bay's defense just rehuddled and called a different defense. They had one initially. Let's see what they're going to do here.
Now the sticks say 3rd down, but it is 4th down. The sticks on the field are incorrect as McNabb fires to the end zone, and the pass is intended for Fred Davis, incomplete.
And they just changed it to 4th. Opposite of us, they've got 3rd down. There's going to be some confusion on this one. Pass into the back of the end zone.
So now with 13 seconds remaining, it comes down to this. There's McNabb, throws, touchdown, Santana Moss.
Very surprised to see Santana Moss be able to get to the inside in that situation. Now, folks, this is not over yet, because Graham Gano is 0 for 2 on field goals, one of them very short, and he just snuck an extra point inside the left upright earlier this game.
And the snap gets away from Hunter Smith. And Gano loses the football. Wow.
You are absolutely right, Moose. It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
If you want to try and figure out how the Redskins season has gone, that play kind of symbolizes the frustrations that this team has faced with opportunities to win games, just not being able to close it out. And it's such a great drive all the way down the field.
Nick Sundberg, the snap, glanced off the hands of Hunter Smith. And the Redskins, looking to tie the game on the extra point attempt, cannot.
Is the snap a little high? Yeah, it's a little high. It's wet out. There's a lot of reasons why that went through his hands. But Danny Smith doesn't want to hear any of that right now. You've got an opportunity to send this game into overtime.
So an improbable end to this game here in Washington. The Redskins score a late touchdown and then cannot get the kick away on the extra point attempt.
This game still isn't over, Dal. We got 9 seconds on the clock. Anything could happen.
Well, you never expect to see the mechanics of the extra point go wrong like that in that crucial of a situation. So I'm gonna have to agree with you, Tony. Well, let's wait till this thing gets to 0-0 before
That's right.
The onside kick by Smith, and it's Maurice Stovall on the recovery with 8 seconds remaining. So the Bucs recover. Now, remember the confusion a couple of plays ago? It seems to us and all of our guys keeping track both here in the booth and in the truck that the Redskins got an extra play. The scoreboard even said here at FedEx Field, 4th down. The stick said 3rd down. So the Redskins apparently were able to run an extra play, and that's when they scored the touchdown.
The Santana Moss would have been the additional play. That touchdown catch would have been the additional play.
I talked to Preet Moretti there just before this play, and he said that they did get a 1st down there on that first catch, and there was only 4 down.
So the catch by Anthony Armstrong actually created the 1st down.
Yes, that's what they're saying.
The Buccaneers take a knee, and they win their 8th game of the season. Bucs go to 8-5. Redskins drop to 5-8 after the Redskins are unable to kick the extra point, and they lose by 1.
What a bizarre ending to the first half with some clock management, and then a bizarre situation here at the end of the game. And again, you know, for the Washington Redskins, this game kind of symbolizes how their season has been. And you work all the way to get down to the field. All you got to do is kick this extra point, and we're going to overtime. Is the snap a little high? Sure, it's a little high, and it's wet out there. But I guarantee you that Hunter Smith and Nick Sundberg have done that time and time again and executed it fine. You never know. You never know when the opportunity for the game to change is going to happen.
There's Sundberg who snapped it. Gano misses 2 field goals in the first half and does not even have a chance to kick the game-tying extra point in the final seconds. So the Buccaneers, in a wild ending, win it by the score of 17-16. We'll return to Landover, Maryland right after these messages.